Well, here we go again. RP's bitching about something else. So what's going on, guys? Riley here from RP Productions, and today we're going to be talking about the brand new Dodge Charger Daytona edition that was just released yesterday, and also talking to you guys about my most recent service visit with the Scat Pack. Now, as you can see, I do have it back in my possession, and if you haven't already, go watch the video the most recent video I posted talking about this whole fiasco. So watch that video first, and then this video is kind of like a follow-up to that. But here is the video. Alright guys, so first I'm going to pick up where I left off with the last video and inform you guys on the most recent developments with the whole Scat Pack issues. So I'm going to do a lot of summarizing here, but basically the air conditioning issue, they kept telling me there was nothing wrong with the car. The air conditioning is operating at what it's supposed to. They did their little temperature testing. They said the temperature is blowing as cold as it's, supposed to blow and everything. The problem is it's not blowing as strong as it needs to. Basically the fan speed, no matter what you do, it doesn't hardly blow any air out. So long story short, I had to basically physically go grab this freaking service dude, bring him out to a car on the lot, and make him feel what a normal one is supposed to feel like, and then feel mine. And he finally agreed, okay, yeah, there's a problem here. So pretty much mine is blowing maybe 30% of what it should. So I think the AC blower is what's messed up. And so long story short, they're gonna have to order a new one, and that will hopefully take care of that problem. So I feel bad about saying that the AC on this car sucks, because that actually was only my car. My car has issues. Not every Dodge Charger AC sucks. That's just kind of, a flaw with my car. So like I said, hopefully that's the fix for that issue. Now the remote start, this is where things get a little bit more complicated. So I got a call yesterday, and basically the guy was asking, hey, what is this white little box that is sitting on your fender? And I had to explain to him that it was color changing running lights that I installed way after the problem with the remote start started happening. What most of you don't know is that the remote start problem has been happening ever since I got the car. I just never really cared much about it. I was kind of like, oh, it's probably a simple fix. So I didn't really worry about it. I knew if I took it in, I might have to leave my car for a few days. I didn't want to do that. I was being kind of lazy. So I just kind of went on, knowing it was there, but it didn't really do anything. So no, to answer your question, the running lights didn't do a single thing to the remote start. That was they're totally separate. The running lights, they run on a totally different circuit. They're hooked up to the battery. I turn them off whenever I want. It really doesn't interfere with anything else on the car. But basically, to make a long story short, the guy was really curious about how obviously this headlight has to get power somehow. So the wire obviously goes over to where the battery is. And so he's very curious. He's like, why are these wires running close to where the hood latch sensor is? And so he basically tried blaming the whole problem on the headlights. And I was like, look, dude, it's just some wires. They're on a totally different circuit. I explained the whole problem, or the whole situation. And he was like, well, I don't know. I got to talk to my master technician. But long story short, they were considering, I guess, almost like voiding my warranty and telling me that this problem is because of me, and the remote start issue, pretty much just go screw myself. And they basically were just trying to get me out, without wanting to do work on my car. So then later, after a lot of talking to people at the dealership, they finally agreed, okay, the running lights didn't do anything to the remote start. That's a totally separate thing, which I told them all along. So now the conclusion that they've come up with, I don't know if the people in Detroit came up with this or the people at the dealership came up with this, but they think there's a pinched wire somewhere in the wiring harness of my car. So long story short, they're gonna have to take off the whole front end of my car, find the wiring harness, and check for a pinched wire. Why they didn't do this in the whole 7 days they had my car, I don't know. I left my car at the dealership for 7 days, exactly 1 week, and the only thing that got done was an oil change. Why? So I know I said in my last video I wasn't upset with the dealership, but yes, I'm actually very upset with the delership, especially for the ways they've been treating me. And as many of you know, if you follow me on Snapchat or Instagram, I actually was kind of considering selling the car and going to something else, because quite frankly, I don't have time to deal with people that are going to treat me like shit. After I've bought two, nice Dodge Chargers from their dealership, I've given them, plenty of business and blah, blah, blah. I don't feel like I should be getting treated as poorly as I have been. I know a lot of other friends that have Dodge products, and they get treated like shit basically at their service departments. So I was just getting really fed up with Dodge service stuff. And I was like, you know what? If they're going to do that, I'm going to get a different car. I then came to my senses and realized I don't want to get rid of this car, because I absolutely love this car. And also, it's just a couple small little issues, and hopefully I won't have to take it back for service for anything else. I will, however, have to drop my car off again to get these problems worked out. Now, hopefully what they said, will fix it. Hopefully that will fix it, but we'll have to see. They're gonna need my car for another 5 days. quite frankly, I can't leave my car at the dealership for 5 more days until probably around Christmas time, because I'll be up at college. I need my car. So both of those issues I'm just gonna have to live with for the next several months. But you know, like I said, they're not a huge deal. It's just something that, you know, is kind of a pain in the ass. One other thing I forgot to mention, after I explained to them what that little white box was sitting on the fender, they then proceeded to just completely rip that box off of the fender, and it was just dangling in my engine bay. Here's a video from my Snapchat. Explain to me why they felt the need to completely take this off. Do they think this is safe just floating around in here? So as you can tell, I was at the dealership and I was pretty heated when I saw that. I called the service advisor over there and I gave him hell for that. I couldn't believe, you know, after me telling them, hey, this is what it is, it's totally separate, they would, you know, take it off and start looking at the wires and figuring out what does what. That really pissed me off. So now it's currently still dangling in here. The engine's hot. And I probably have to, you know, use different tape to put it back in there. But, you know, still, it's like, why? Don't mess with that. I came here for a hood latch problem and you're messing with wires that are totally irrelevant. One more thing that pissed me off about the dealership experience is when they drove up to give me my car, the running lights were turned on. Now the only way to turn the running lights on are with that little remote there. So that means they went into my glove box where I'd hid the remote, grabbed it, and somehow were playing around with the on and off settings, left the lights on for who knows how many days. And you know, they shouldn't be messing around with my running lights. So this also brings up the case of, you know, Riley, why don't you mod your car a lot more? Because Dodge will void your warranty for just about anything. You know, every car manufacturer, oh, you put headers on your car, that's why your engine blew up. I don't want to deal with it. So that's kind of the problem with these cars nowadays is, you know, there's so many things that could go wrong, and if you start building them and making, you know, a lot of horsepower or doing cool extensive modifications to your car, you know, your warranty will just go straight out the door. And as most of you know, 2016 has a lot of cars that have a lot of moving parts to them, especially electrical stuff, that could always go wrong, and not having a warranty on that, you know, granted, it's a brand new car, it shouldn't have any problems, but, you know, most have some kind of problem. So it's just really, you know, a lose-lose really. You mod your car, you gotta pay a shitload for service and stuff because you don't have a warranty, or you don't mod your car and you have a car that looks just like everybody else's, but you keep your warranty. So enough about this car, let's talk about the brand new Dodge Charger Daytona edition. So I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, I'm actually very upset that Dodge would do this, and let me explain why. If you don't know what the Dodge Charger Daytona edition is, basically it is a Scat pack with Hellcat wheels, Hellcat brakes, and Hellcat tires. So the starting price on this car, I believe, is like $4,000 more than a Scat pack. So why anybody would buy a Scat pack now, I don't know. Not only did they add these Hellcat add-ons to the basically Scat pack, they also are now starting to offer 5.7 liter V8s, you know, the basic RT with pretty much, you know, Scat pack and SRT appearance packages. And now it's like, oh, look, a Scat pack. Oh wait, that's a 5.7 Daytona. Like, why? Don't make them look identical. That, to me, it's just really silly that they would do that. So both the 5.7 and 6.4 Daytona edition models have a couple other here and there things, like some vinyl wraps on the hood and roof and like a true cold air intake, a couple small things, but I'm just really pissed off because the Scat pack was supposed to be like that special heritage model, and nobody really saw this coming. I didn't think that they would do a Scat pack and a Daytona. I'm just very confused by this whole deal. And as a Scat pack owner, it, you know, definitely dropped the value of pretty much every Scat pack out there on the market. Because, you know, let's be honest, you're not going to find a Scat pack sitting on the lot for the complete minimum price. I mean, every one of them has going to have some kind of options. So when you're at the dealer looking for a brand new car, you got Scat pack or Daytona. Everyone's going to pick the Daytona because it has, you know, the wheels, the tires, the brakes from a Hellcat. So the Scat pack really, it's like, it was the cool thing, and now it's like, oh, well, I could get a Scat pack with these cool little add-ons for about the same price. So basically Dodge just completely scatted all over the Scat pack. Now, if you're somebody that has a Mustang or Camaro or somebody, you know, that drives something else, this is a great deal for you because you're gonna get, you know, a Scat pack with all these Hellcat add-ons for not much more, and it's gonna be an absolute fantastic car. So I'm sure a lot of Scat pack owners will trade up, but they're gonna lose money on their cars. So yes, it is a cool, you know, marketing ploy. You know, Dodge is gonna sell a lot of those cars and they're gonna be a really hot item. But what it did was, you know, the loyal owners that already own Scat packs and SRTs and stuff, you just pissed off pretty much every single one of those. I'm not the only one that feels like this. I know I might be, you know, just sounding like a complete, you know, asshole just bitching about stuff all the time. But I talked to a lot of other Scat pack owners and I was like, hey, what do you think about Dodge doing this? And every one of them has been pissed off. I haven't talked to a single person that's like, I'm really happy. My Scat pack's being overshadowed by something else. Now this is also when people start bitching at me for bitching because, you know, the Scat Pack kind of overshadows the SRT because they share the same engine and the appearance and everything. But honestly, there's, you know, an $8,000 price difference there, and I was really surprised when I made my comparison video between the SRT and the Scat Pack. I figured a lot of people would be like, you know, nobody should buy an SRT. But actually, I was really blown away. A lot of people were saying, you know, buy the SRT, it's a way better car for a reason. That's why you're getting, you know, spending $8,000 more. And so that got, you know, kind of interesting feedback. But to make a long story short, now you can get a 5.7 that looks just like an SRT, and this whole thing is just really confusing. As a Scat Pack owner, I'm pretty upset, but if I didn't own a Scat Pack, I'd be really happy about it. They are cool cars, don't get me wrong, but just owning a Scat Pack now, it's just like, well, there goes the resale value of my car, and you know, it's kind of lost some of its cool factor because it's like, oh, that's just a Scat Pack. But if you see a Daytona, you're like, ooh, that's the Daytona. So that's kind of my opinions on the whole ordeal. I think that Dodge probably should not have done the Daytona edition. I think it should be some kind of like dealer add-on where you could pay for like a Daytona package at a dealer, but it shouldn't be something, in my opinion, that Dodge just straight up offers from the factory. I think that this is going to be, you know, really confusing. I mean, why the hell would you buy an SRT 392 when you can get this Daytona for cheaper with better brakes, wheels, and tires? It also makes me wonder, are they going to get rid of the Scat Pack since they're going to have the Daytonas? I've kind of heard mixed things. Some people are like, yeah, the Scat Pack's going to go away. Other people are like, no, they're going to run side by side in the market. They're just going to be priced very similar, but the Daytona is going to have, you know, the better features and stuff on it. Now, I don't want you guys thinking I absolutely hate the Daytona edition, because that's not true at all. They're great. That's badass. You're getting a Scat Pack with Hellcat add-ons. Like, that's freaking cool. If I would have my RT currently, my old black RT, and I was like in the market for a Scat Pack, I would definitely not buy one right now, and I would wait until those Daytonas come out, because that's going to be a great buy. But as somebody that has a Scat Pack, now it's like, well, now I should sell my car and get a Daytona. But I don't want to sell my car, especially because it's purple, and like, I love this car. So that's what's going on in Dodge news and also RP news with my car. You know, I feel like I keep making these videos just bitching to you guys, but I promise the next video, I will be doing the tire review next video, so that will come out on Friday. So stay tuned for that. That should be fun, and I won't be bitching, so that's cool. So once again, that's what's going on. Sorry I had to do this awkwardly, just standing up and waving my arms around. I don't know, it's dark outside, I couldn't go drive the car, so I figured, hey, I'll do it right here in my garage. But thank you guys for watching this video. I will see you on the next one. Take it easy.